Hey guys, before we start this life conversation, I just want to suggest that you guys check out Tony Robbins. He has some amazing videos and he talks about some really important things. I'm going to link a couple videos in the description that I'm going to probably reference in this live stream that you guys should definitely go check out. He's very entertaining, very engaging, and what he talks about is so important. All right, I'm excited. I'm going to start the live stream up in about 3 seconds, so let's just jump into it. All right, dope. Welcome, everyone. So, what this conversation is about is one of my friends sent in a question and it said, how do you deal with overly dramatic people who are the reason that people don't take mental illness seriously? So, this conversation about mental illness and then people not taking it seriously and people being over dramatic and misrepresenting it is something that I really want to talk about, and I'm so excited that my friend brought it up. So there are different parts of this conversation that I want to. Sydney asked, "Do you have a mental illness?" I don't have a mental illness per se, but I've experienced serious depression and being suicidal, which is mental illness. And I've experienced that pretty intensely for a number of years, so I have some experience with it. I have friends and family members who have experienced it more intensely. So I've been around it for quite a few years. I've been researching it a bit. So it's something that's really important to me because a lot of people don't talk about it, and it's really important. Okay, welcome to everyone joining. I'm so glad you guys are all here. So there's 3 different aspects to this conversation that I want to cover. I don't know if we can all do it in this conversation. We might continue it in Thursdays. The first aspect is the person themselves being overly dramatic and what's that entailing. The second the second part of this conversation is you having to deal with that. And the third part of it is other people seeing overly dramatic people and then interpreting that as mental illness. So there's 3 different parts, and I think I'm gonna start with the person themselves. So when I first got this question, it was actually last night, and I worked this morning, so I wasn't able to jump on it quite rapidly. However, my mother's my biggest mentor, and we talk about this all the time. So I sent it to her. And I said, "Hey, what are your thoughts on this?" And she immediately sent back, "Look into Tony Robbins and his 6 essentials that people need." Now, this was a video that I watched a few months ago. Tony Robbins is an amazing person. He is so brilliant, and he does some great talks. They're entertaining and they're informative. And so I will link a few of his videos in the description once I post this to YouTube. But I will send you guys that way to watch his videos. What Tony Robbins talks about, this has to do with someone being overly dramatic about mental illness. There are 6 essentials to things that we need filled. There are 6 essentials, and if you can have at least 3, your mind will be addicted to it, and that's you feel fulfilled. And I'm gonna list them off, that way we can get into this conversation and know the basis. The first 4 are needs of the personality. Your personality needs this. The last 2, the first 4 are essential. The last 2 are needs of the spirit. You feel fulfilled. Your spirit feels full when you have these. They're not essential. You're not gonna go crazy without them like you would if you don't have the first 4. But they really fill you up. So this list not only Zach says you should honestly just make a podcast. That's exactly what this is. I'm recording it and I post it to YouTube afterwards. So the first 4 you need, and the last 2 really make you feel filled. So with these 6, if you fill them, you feel good. If you don't, you feel bad. And what people do is they do unhealthy things in order to fill those things, because if something like being overly dramatic fills these 6 needs, or at least 3 of the needs, then you're good. Your mind feels fine. And so people do these different things. So this is why my mother suggested that I talk about it, and I was so excited to talk about this. So the first thing is certainty. And that's something that I've heard from multiple different people. Everyone is craving certainty. They want to know that they're going to have food. They want to know that they're going to have money. They want to know that they're going to have love, that something is certain. And when you don't have that certainty, you feel lost. So people will fill that certainty with food. They'll fill it with a bad relationship. They'll fill it with games. They'll fill it with whatever they need to, even if that is being over dramatic, because that is something certain that they can be about. Or something that hits on a more personal level is being depressed. That's a certainty. Oh, I'm depressed? Well, I know, that's certain. Okay. And you feel comfortable in that. The next thing is actually a contrast. Uncertainty. Everyone wants a little bit of interest in their life. And I'm taking this directly from Tony Robbins. Like, this is not my research. I'm literally just projecting it to you guys. So, because, okay, so think about you're doing the same thing every day, day in, day out. Sure, it's certain, but it's boring. So people want uncertainty. So people also will do this. Tony Robbins talks about how people will do this when life's going good. You always seem to screw it up. He uses different wording, but I'm going to censor it a little bit. He's like, so yeah, if you're in a good relationship, if you have a good job, we always, if it's going good, we always tend to screw it up. That's because we want that uncertainty. We want to have a little bit of excitement of what's happening next. So people who, going back to the question about being overdramatic, people will be overdramatic and make a big deal out of things because, ooh, it provides some uncertainty. The next part really, the next two really have to do with this. Uniqueness / being special. Everyone wants to be unique. They want to be special. They want to feel like they're different from others. And I feel this intensely. And I think everyone does to a certain level, whether they realize it or not. For me, I like having my different hair. I like being an artist. I like being biracial. I like being Cape Verdean. Like these different parts of me, because I feel unique. I feel special. And so for someone who is being over dramatic, or someone who's making a big deal, or someone who's pretending to have a mental illness when they don't actually, it's because they're fulfilling the need of being unique, being special, because they get that attention for being special. The next one really, really touches on this. The fourth is connection. Now, everyone craves connection. I think this is this uncertainty for me is really, really important. Everyone wants to feel connected to someone. And a lot of times you don't realize that you can be just connected with yourself. And we want to feel connected with others. So we will create problems in order for us to feel connected. And so for some people, it's having actual depression, but they can't get better because having depression creates a problem that causes people around them to come in to fix the problem, and then they get that connection. This happened with someone I knew that they could never get well because their actual legit mental illness allowed them to have that connection with people, and therefore they never got well because not only was it a certainty, it made them unique, but it gave them that connection with other people that if they were well, those people wouldn't be reaching out to them. So I think that part is really, really important when it comes to someone being overdramatic or someone pretending this or that it's that connection. Uh-oh, hold up. My live video just paused. Are we back? Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what just happened, but I'm going to continue on. So it's that connection that people really crave. And so they will create a problem. They will create also going into this conversation, I want to state that I believe mental illness is a real thing. It's a real problem. Many people deal with it. I've dealt with it. People I know and love have dealt with it. So I'm not saying that it's fake, and I'm not saying that all people are faking. I'm talking specifically about the people who don't have a mental illness but are pretending to, or those who who are just being overdramatic and mention it, because that is very harmful for those who actually deal with it. Because those who have not experienced a mental illness look at the dramatic people, because they're the loud ones about it, and they go, they're faking it. Duh, it's so fake, it's so being overdramatic to get attention. And those who actually have this mental illness, this problem, will not be able to get that help, or people will just completely sidetracked what will completely just be like, oh, you're just looking for attention, when they actually have a problem that needs to be fixed. So what I've been talking about, what I talked about in the last live stream until it crashed, was I'm talking about Tony Robbins' six necessities in order for your brain to kind of be happy, that everyone needs. And we talked about certainty, how people crave. Oh, also, if you have at least 3 of these met, your brain's fine. Whether you fill it with something healthy or unhealthy, your brain feels good. And so the first 4 are needs of personality. The last 2 are needs of the spirit. The last 2 aren't necessary for your brain to be happy, but your soul feels filled if this happens. And these 6 things you can use in order to recognize things that you're doing wrong and be the healthiest person, or you can use it to recognize how other people are using unhealthy things in order to fulfill those needs. So we talked about certainty. Everyone wants certainty. They want to know that they have a roof over their head, there's food, they have money, that they're loved, that they have a support. People want certainty. So they will fill that with anything they can. If they don't have certainty in their lives, they will fill it with drinking. They will fill it with video games. Emma says hello. Hey, Emma. Thanks for jumping in. They will fill it with addiction. They will fill it with relationships. Just something that they have certain. And people will also fill it with by pretending a mental illness. Or if they actually have a mental illness, they will use that because it's certain. If it's certain that they wake up every day and they have depression, that is actually something steady for them. And that's something I experienced on a little level back when I had depression and I had suicidal thoughts. It was something that that happened every single day, and it was something that it was just certain in my life, and in a weird way it was comforting. And that's something that that comes in on these 6 things. So I'm going to hurry up a bit because I don't want this to be too long, but I realize it crashed. So we have certainty. Then we have uncertainty. If you have certainty in your life, we tend to screw it up just because we want something new to happen. For me, I will get serious depression when I'm bored, which is why I have to do taekwondo, which is why I have to work, which is just all these different things. So people will use being dramatic as a way to, ooh, uncertainty, woo, it's something different. The third one is uniqueness or feeling special. People will create a problem, or they will create this or that, just something. They will create something in order to feel unique. I'm just going over what we talked about, or what I talked about, and y'all missed because of my internet. The 4th thing is connection. This is the one that really comes into play. People want to be connected, and if that requires them creating a dramatic situation, if that requires them holding on to a mental illness that they could cure, but that gives them certainty and that gives them connection with other people, they will hang on to that. I've experienced that firsthand, and it's really hard. Zach says, I feel like mental illness, particularly depression, is far too romanticized in media to the point where it's made to look cool to people who haven't experienced it. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is so true on so many levels. People have, a lot of people who haven't experienced depression will, because they think it's cool for some reason, because of the people being dramatic about it or romanticizing being suicidal, being depressed. It is something that is not cool, and we have we're so desensitized to it. Galaxy Spam says reasons why. 13 reasons why. I will do a live stream specifically on that if you guys want me to. I will do a live stream specifically on that TV show and why I cannot watch it. If you guys want me to, that is something that I really do want to talk about, but I know it can be triggering to a lot of people. So if you want me to do that live stream, please let me know, because that's a serious subject that I would love to brush on, but I'm already running out of time as it is with this live stream. So people will create a dramatic situation, a this, a that, a problem in order to feel connected. This is what I see in so many people being dramatic. This is something that people will do in the uncertainty thing. They will create a problem so it's uncertain, and then they feel connected to others when the others come in to solve that problem. Denise says, it's so frustrating when you have dealt with it for years and people talk it down and don't get it. My husband doesn't understand it at all, but supports me and pushes me to help. Yes. Okay, people are saying that they want me to do the 13 Reasons Why live stream. If we can get through this conversation tonight, I will do it Thursday. If not, I will do it next Monday. Okay, cool. So, the next one that we didn't get to is the spiritual needs. And this is for your spirit to feel full, is grow. We constantly need to be growing. Otherwise, we feel like we're not accomplishing anything in life. I feel this on a very, very deep level. This is why I had to quit. This is why I had to quit doing college, because I didn't feel like I couldn't feel like I was growing. I felt like I was staying still, that I was pursuing something that I didn't want, and I wasn't growing in what I wanted. Denise says, I can't watch that. And that's something, very quickly, that's something that I really want to say, yes, good. If you can't watch something, don't do it. Don't do it just because some people think it's cool or some people really connect to it. We're talking about 13 Reasons Why. I can't watch it. I cannot watch it. I will not watch it. No, I will not watch it. And I will explain why in that live stream that we do. And it's really good that you're able to recognize that you can't watch it, because that's really healthy for you. Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, thank you, because there are a lot of people who don't recognize that. So, growth. We need growth. And I know I'm getting a little off topic about dealing with dramatic people, but I wanted to hit on these 6 things. So, I felt stuck in college and I wasn't growing. I didn't feel like I was getting further on in life. And so I was getting depressed. And so I had to stop, and I had to start working and making money. And that's how I felt like I was growing. And that's why my spirit feels really filled right now. The last one that I really love is contribution. And okay, so the example that Tony Robbins gave is, when you see something really, really cool, really, really awesome, what do you immediately do? Normally for me, I see a funny meme or a really inspirational video. I want to share it, right? Because we want to contribute. We want to feel like we're giving to others, and that really fills our spirits. Dylan says, I felt that way too. I had very toxic people in my life. Yes. And cutting those people out is going to be the most healthy thing for you ever, even if it's hard. So yeah, contribution. For me, it's this. This makes me feel like I'm contributing to the world. Because I have grown from all this information that myself and my mother, my friends, we've studied together. Now I want to give it to other people because it makes me feel filled. It makes me feel better because I'm contributing. And so those are the 6. We can talk more about them later if you guys want me to. But I'm going to please watch the videos that I'll link once I post this podcast, because it is so, so good. And it really makes you look around at your life and go, wait, is this what I'm doing in order to fulfill this need? Or is this need what I'm missing? Chrissy asked, what was number 4? Number 4 is connection. That's the most important one when it comes to this conversation, in my opinion. People want to feel connected with others. So they will create a problem. They will hang on to an illness or a problem or a toxic relationship that hurts them in order for the people around them to descend on them and help them and come rescue them, because then they feel connected. So now that we've talked about that, and maybe you're able to recognize why these people are being dramatic, why they are creating these problems, but then they blame it on mental illness. Dealing with something like that is you you can't change them. And it's really important to recognize that it's not your job to change them, first off, and that it's not, in my opinion, it's not worth your energy to try to change someone. But you can point it out. You can confront them, and I would highly suggest that. You can be like, yo, this is coming from someone who has dealt with it in the past. Hey, I've dealt with mental illness, and the way that you're talking about it, whether you've dealt with it or not, is really harmful for those who have not dealt with it and view mental illness, because they now view it as a dramatic thing that people are doing for attention. And whether or not you realize that you're doing it for attention, this is how it is viewed, and it's really harmful, and it's hard to watch. Now, if you can, now if this person is not willing to go, oh, this is what I'm doing, or stop, please remove yourself from that situation, from that friendship, because that is just going to drain you. I'm a very big advocate on, if something's draining to you, if something's harming you, remove yourself from that situation, from that relationship. If you're someone who has dealt with depression and is interacting with this person, first off, you can talk to them, you can confront them, but don't try to change them. It's not your job to change them. It's not your responsibility. And when you put so much energy into that, it's going to end up draining you. And if they're not going to change, it's just going to end up draining you, wasting your time, and wasting your emotions. So, but you can point it out to them. You can go, hey, this is something that you're doing. It's really harmful to me. It's really harmful to the people around you that actually deal with mental illness and depression and all these different things. And you being very dramatic about it is really harmful. So I just want to point this out to you. I don't know whether you're doing it because you want to feel connected to people, that you want to feel special, but this is something that you're doing. I want to just tell you. And having that conversation with someone can be hard, can be difficult, but it will give you the freedom to be able to take a step back out of that situation and go, hey, I tried. I put into it. I made that, and now I'm going to step back for my own health. So that's what I highly suggest to anyone dealing with something like this. Even if it's hard, it's only going to help you if you take a step back, and it's only going to hurt you if you continue to expose yourself to those people who are being harmful. Now, to anyone who hasn't experienced mental illness, or I say mental illness or depression because depression is such a common thing, and then there are other mental illnesses, but it's all in one lump sum. I'm just saying both because that's how I work. To anyone who hasn't experienced it, know that the people who are being dramatic, they might deal with it, but that's their way of connecting with people. That's their way of being unique. That's their way of getting attention in order to fill some of the 6 needs that they need. 6 things that they need. And something also that I would say is that completely writing off an entire group of people dealing with a problem just because of the few people who you see that may misrepresent it is completely it's really terrible. And it's hard, but if you take that time to look past the drama and see the people and maybe the other people around them that are dealing with it, you can actually really be a huge help. Because having a friend who isn't going through depression to be there for you is really the 6 basic human needs. Yes, thank you, Mom. And Christy says it can be exhausting, but they are reaching out for connection. Exactly. So if you're going through depression, I highly suggest don't trying to fix those people who are being dramatic. If you're not going through depression and you're able to stay healthy and still interact with them, oh my gosh, please do it, because someone like me, I can't do it. I can't. It's too much for me. But I can deal with other things that other people can't. So what I was saying is that, trying to get my thoughts back into place, that most people are not just open and expressing, hey guys, I'm depressed. Like, when you're depressed, it's this weight on your head. It's not something that you're going out and spewing. So there's so many people around you who are going through depression, who they might be suicidal, they might be going through all these different problems and these chemical imbalances in their head, that would love to be loved on, to be reached out to, and not judged by because of what one person is doing or a few people are projecting. So I just want to say that it's not, don't judge an entire group by the few loud ones. Don't judge an entire group of people suffering just by the few annoying ones or the few overly dramatic ones. Galaxy Spam says, I know that anxiety makes you create ideas in your head and can make you agitated, and panic attacks can make you look super dramatic, but it's like not a thing that you do on purpose, so you have to keep that in mind too. Very, very important. Anxiety is insane. I've actually never I don't experience anxiety like a lot of my friends do. I've been incredibly blessed. And I have friends who have panic attacks regularly. And I have witnessed, I've witnessed this firsthand. A friend will be having a panic attack, right? And then someone else would be like, oh, they're just seeking out for attention. And it's someone who hasn't gone through what they're going through. And to this person who is saying that, it's like, yeah, they're just being overly dramatic. Like, oh my gosh, my I can't breathe and I'm shaking and my head and this and that. And they don't realize that this person's not trying to do that. But because they have witnessed other people being like, oh my gosh, I can't. And who are not being real, this is how it gets misrepresented. Whereas for someone who's gone through a different type of mental illness, seeing this, they're like, no, this is legit. Yo, you need to chill out and take them seriously. And then for the person actually going through the panic attack, they're freaking out and they don't want to be going through that panic attack. They don't want their brain and their body to be doing this, but they can't help it. It's just how the chemicals are working. And so I'm going to try to bring this in for a landing. Exactly. Denise says, please, if I could stop my anxiety, I wish I could. And if I could, when I have my depression, if I could stop it, I really want to. And yeah, so it's one of those things, having a very healthy and educated view when you're looking, whether you have depression, whether you are going through this dramaticness in your head, or whether you don't have it and you're viewing other people. Looking at the 6 basic human needs: certainty, uncertainty, uniqueness / feeling special, connection, growth, and contribution, and then being able to discern why this person is doing this, or why you are doing it, or how these different things are fulfilling it, allow you to go, oh, this is what they're doing in order to cope. So it's very important to have that mindset. And if it's damaging to you, to remove yourself from that person, from that situation. If you are that person, to look at it and go, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And if you're someone who's not gone through this and viewing it, to be able to look at these basic 6 human needs and go, okay, this is what they're doing. It might be annoying. I might not understand it, but this is what they're doing. And to not judge everyone else who hasn't expressed their mental illness, and not just write it off as a seeking for attention. And he says, not a lot of people understand. Not everybody's bodies are the same. Everyone is different. That is so important. For me, when I get stressed out over crushes or friend drama, I will have a panic attack. If I get into a car accident or something very dramatic happens, I will have a migraine. When I'm in depression, I just hide in my room and I'm just sad, but I don't express it. And so it's very hard for people to know when I'm not doing well, because I don't express it. Whereas I have friends or other people who will express it. They're seeking for help, for this or that. And some people will be like, oh, that's so annoying. It's just, everyone's different. And so, yeah, I want to bring this in for a landing because we've been live streaming, or attempting to live stream, for the past 40 minutes. But thank you to everyone who jumped in, who stuck with me through my Wi-Fi problems, and to anyone who contributed and spoke in the live stream. This is such an important discussion, and I'm so happy to the person who asked this. and to my mother for suggesting, hey, the basic 6 human needs. So what I'm going to do is once I post this, I will link Tony Robbins' discussions in the bio. Please go watch it. It is so important. It is so, it really opens your mind to why you do certain things, why you, why you are the way you are, why you're doing this, maybe it's unhealthy, why you're staying in that toxic relationship, why you're still doing this unhealthy thing that's hurting you, maybe why you can't let go of your depression or this or that, because it's filling one of your needs. And so yeah, I'm going to end this off by again saying, guys, you are loved and worthy of love. Don't let anyone tell you differently. And I will see you guys Thursday. I guess we'll be talking about 13 Reasons Why and why I can't watch it. If it is... Oh, yeah, my mother warns you. He's colorful, but way worth the listen. Yes, he swears. He uses real talk. If you're not into that, there are versions that I will try to link that censor it. But yeah. Denise says, yes, thank you. I love these live streams, no lie. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you to everyone. This is seriously helping me so much because I feel like I'm able to spread what I've learned, and it's really making me look at what I've learned and go over it, and it's pushing me. So I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions that you want me to talk in the next one, DM me, contact me. We can continue this conversation offline, off stream, and be sure to share the podcast once it goes up. All right. Thank you guys. I'm going to go now. Have a great rest of your Monday. All right, that's it. Okay, so that was crazy. My Wi-Fi was absolutely insane. However, I'm super, super happy that so many people joined and stuck with me. This is such an important conversation. Mental illness, people reaching out for help, the 6 basic needs, and I'm so excited to be talking about this and sharing it with you guys. So thank you for watching this podcast. Again, if you have friends or family or just anyone, just share this with them so that they feel like they're connected. Anyways, thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share this, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.